The Witness stands as a formidable force, but is it enough? Initially an obscure hint in the storyline, gradually emerges as a central antagonist, culminating in its dramatic reveal in the Witch Queen expansion. Yet, as the saga unfolds through Lightfall and beyond, questions arise about the true nature of this threat and its impact on the Destiny universe. Today we explore the complex portrayal of the Witness, contrasting its stoic exterior with its potential for raw, unbridled rage, and the anticipation for a climactic showdown that could redefine our understanding of this dark adversary. Is the Witness a good villain? Let's discuss. Before we jump into this too much, I want to say this video is inspired by a video Paul Tassi did, as well as Destiny Bulletin's tweets. I'm not the first person to come up with this idea. They discuss this same topic. Is the Witness a good character, and is it a big enough villain for this entire saga? To understand this being, we must first head back to the beginning. Destiny 1 was a wild time, especially at launch. Much excitement around Bungie's new project after Halo. But as people got their hands on the game, they quickly had issues with the initial story. Was there even one? It felt like many things were cut, which they were. The game mentioned the Traveler as our savior, the Guardians who wield its power, and its ancient enemy the Darkness who would return someday. Beyond that, most players were confused.
But the Traveler had an enemy. A darkness which had hunted it for eons across the black gulfs of space. Centuries after our golden age began, this darkness found us. And that was the end of everything.
Although this darkness was a mystery, our first hint at this powerful force, or rather those who wield it, actually first appeared before you even played the game on the install screen for Destiny 1. Take a look at this. Concept art for the pyramid ships. Bungie had this planned for years.
Here are the dead forests of Mars, exploring the non-traditional palette that I mentioned, going for that, and not what you would expect on Mars, which was a really cool thing to play with. And of course, a good game needs giant onyx pyramid ships. But that's a really cool image I love showing, but I'm not allowed to talk about those yet. Maybe someday down the road.
Maybe not just these pyramid ships either, but perhaps even a race that resided within them or controlled them. The infamous Race 5 concept as seen here. Some suggest this could have been the Taken, which makes sense because the Witness controls the Taken or did before, but it also clearly represents a swirling head nature of a Witness-like character and its pyramid ships.
So in Halo we had one main enemy, and to fill out a world as big as Destiny, we actually needed a lot more than that. We needed many, and we wanted to do that. We wanted this place to feel exciting with lots of different characters to fight. So we wanted them to feel harmonious as well, like puzzle pieces, to carve out different thematic buckets for them. So what we did was line them up and created a mood board like you see here.
For years, the Darkness remained a mystery. Something Bungie did very well was keep the mystery interesting. Much like the Forerunners in their Halo saga, the Darkness felt ancient and mysterious. Was it a race of alien beings? A force that can create dark guardians? We didn't know. The first big change for the Light and Dark saga came after the Red War. When the Traveler pushed back Gaul, it awoke some ancient ships deep in the system, the same one seen in that concept art. Shadowkeep took this a step further, when a mysterious character would begin using our ghost to speak with us.
Welcome. We've been waiting.
We found an ancient darkness artifact and a pyramid ship that was inside our moon since the first collapse. The overall message, this mysterious character and the ships behind it were now on their way. Vanilla Destiny 2, Shadowkeep, and then Beyond Light were building up to something. Beyond Light had us interact with the Dark Force once again as they spoke through Ghost, guiding us to a pyramid ship on Europa to acquire darkness powers for ourselves. On our journey, we learned more about these ships. Most of them seemed empty. At one point, maybe they were sentient, could move and think on their own, but Europa's was empty, same with the others that would now invade our system.
That's another one. They all scan the same. Empty. Why did the darkness invite us here?
Something must control these ships. We've never seen a pilot.
In her journeys beyond the heliopause, Queen Mara Solve encountered the entity that commands the pyramids. She said its mind spoke louder than any other she has ever heard. A cacophony of thought. Perhaps those voices steer these ships. One of those voices spoke to you in the Black Garden as well.
Witch Queen was the big reveal. After defeating Savathun, she warns us about the big bad of the entire universe, the Witness, and we get a cutscene of it for the first time.
The game is over. Do not be afraid. Your pale heart holds the key. This time, there is no escape.
A spooky humanoid figure with multiple heads meshes into reality as it moves across its pyramid ship, shifting worlds and focusing in on its true goal, the Traveler. It seems ancient, calm, but you can get a sense of fright. Inside Savathun's throne world, we found another pyramid ship belonging to a disciple of the Witness. His name was Ralk. Our first encounter with these said disciples that follow this Witness character. At this point, we learn that there's tons of pyramid ships and only some of them house disciples like Ralk. After the Witness's reveal, the following seasons connected to the story a bit, but we didn't see the character again physically. Just heard stories about it and its goals in the lore, like wanting to find the relics of Nezarec and using characters like its disciples and even Aramis to achieve this for it. In Lightfall, the Witness appears again. It finally found the Traveler and arrives to learn how to enact this final shape. In the cutscenes, it showcases its extreme power, uses Callus, its newest disciple, to find the Veil, and opens a portal in the Traveler, then disappears. That's kind of where we are with the Witness currently. The whole plot of this year since then has been trying to figure out how to follow the Witness. Essentially, normally without the delay, 12 months of canon time where the Witness is absent both story-wise and for you the player. These seasons were of course supposed to lead straight into the final shape in February, so there wouldn't have been that big gap of time, but the expansion got delayed, so I'm not sure how they're going to do that story-wise. We have learned more about the Witness and its species since then, but the being itself has been absent. So is the Witness a bad villain or a good character? Let's get to some analysis. Of course, we don't have the final shape and things are not over yet for this saga, so keep that in mind. To me, currently, although the Witness seems scary and has been hinted at for many years, it doesn't feel like as big of a threat. It hasn't threatened the city or achieved damage on a massive scale. Maybe it's done this to other species, but to us it's flicked its wrist, killed a couple of guardians, and then went on its way. Now story-wise, you can argue that's what the character wants. It doesn't need to because it's after this final shape. It doesn't care about these little ants of guardians in its way. They mean nothing to it and its final goals. But it does feel a bit underwhelming currently. Think back to the Red War with the Red Legion terrorizing the city, even the Taken King, Oryx destroying the Awoken fleet. You saw the impact these villains had. The battle to come in the final shape will likely entirely take place inside the Traveler, so anyone on the outside may be blind to the matter at hand. Well, guess we just live our normal lives and hope the Guardian can save the universe. I hope there's some type of portrayal of how this affects humanity and all these races overall. Kind of like that cutscene we seen at the end of Season of the Seraph. All these different races and humanity were looking up at the Traveler because they thought it was leaving. Huge implications for their own lives. The Witness hasn't had a big confrontation with our Guardian at all, which also makes it feel like less of a threat. Sure, it's used Ghost and tricked us in Lightfall, but we need something scary to happen. Oryx taunted us, so did Gaul and Savathun. The Witness barely acknowledges us. The character often displays a calm, stoic demeanor, rarely showing any perceptible emotion. This facade of tranquility masks a deep underlying rage, suggesting a being that is controlled yet harbors intense feelings of this entire species. To be fair, the final shape may address all of this, but hopefully it isn't too late. We don't really need 5 missions exploring the Pale Heart and then maybe 1 against a Witness. To me, it needs to be focused entirely on the Witness as a villain and the dire threat it poses not just to the universe but to you, the player. Maybe this true rage will burst out, the Witness's many personalities emerging to confront the Guardian. Maybe it even destroys Ghost. Even then, if the Witness is at the center and focal point, will it improve how we view this villain? It's hard to tell. Savathun's been around for years. We heard about her schemes, were frightened just by the thought of her, and one day we finally got to encounter her in Witch Queen. The big bad villain had that payoff when we defeated her, and although we brought her back last season, she's still a threat. The Witness appears for 2 expansions and is likely defeated for good in the final shape. This god figure that can crumble life forms with a flick of its finger is bland and stoic. That could be Bungie's plan and its true intent will be revealed in the final shape, but those are some of my feelings. I wish we maybe could have encountered it more throughout this year's seasons, or witnessed what it's actually doing inside the Pale Heart. There's been a big gap since Lightfall and actually entering the portal. The idea of the darkness in the pyramids years ago sounded daunting. A massive darkness army, another race. When revealed though, most ships were empty, likely controlled by the minds of the Witness, and some contained disciples. But to you the player, what would have been more frightening, an entire race of darkness beings, or maybe what Bungie merged it into, this darkness race merged into the Witness who has several disciples? This change could have been for many reasons. Maybe narrative teams have changed over the years and tried to piece things together. Maybe they rushed at the end of the saga and wanted to make more IPs like other games, so Lightfall and the final shape got thrown together. Now that might not be the right wording. I'm sure they worked hard on the story and want it to be the best conclusion it can, but the big point is that the Witness needs a grand payoff. Encounters with the Witness, explanations more in depth on why things are the way they are with its species, with the final shape, and the fate of the universe. But anyway, Guardians, that's all we have for today's video. Some thoughts on the Witness, its current character development, and how it could change within the final shape. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.